Hello everybody, my name is Craig Chythlock. This is ATM 101 Unit 7 Screencast. My observation location is in between Fairbanks and North Pole, just north of the Tanana, right here. And to give you a reference, I'm located here in the interior of Alaska, roughly 400 miles east of the nearest coastline. The dates of observation were between the 4th and 8th of February. Roughly the times that I got the observations were 1:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon every day. And the National Weather Service Station data that I got was from the Fairbanks International Airport. So we will go over the weekly temperature plots and discuss weather over the week day by day. So, Monday the 4th, the temperature at the time of observation was 17.9. The amount of cloud cover was 100%. The cloud type, my best guess would be nimbostratus or stratus. We had some snow and some freezing rain for precipitation. The Beaufort number that I estimated was a 2. And it was coming out of the north. The maximum temperature for the that I got, maximum reading was 18.1 degrees Fahrenheit, and the minimum was 6.5. The National Weather Service temperatures correlate very well with my temperature readings throughout the entire week. And it was very, very warm for this time of the year. To have a high or maximum temperature 18.1 on February 4th is very unusual. Moving on to the 5th, Tuesday. The current temperature was 16.5 at the time of observation. Sky cover was 100%. Cloud type that I could estimate was stratus, nimbostratus. I could not see any blue, and it was difficult to gauge the height because of the cloud cover. There was some freezing rain with a little bit of snow. We had a Beaufort number of, it looks like 1, and again it came from the north. We had a maximum temperature of 16.6 and a minimum of 11.2. It worked very well. The temperatures correlated very well with the National Weather Service stations. And we had a little bit of cooling for this day. Moving on to the 6th. The current temperature at the time of observation was 6.7, so definitely cooled down quite a bit. The sky cover was clear to about a quarter. Cloud type was cumulostratus and cirrostratus and cirrus, sorry. The Beaufort number was 1 to 0. 0 to 1, there was very little movement coming out of the north-northeast. The maximum temperature for that previous day was 19.4 degrees Fahrenheit, and the minimum over the night was 3.3. And again, the temperatures worked very well with what the National Weather Service had reported. Because of the clear skies and the loss of insolation, we were not getting a whole lot of heat reflected back to the earth, and it cooled off. It got pretty chilly, especially at night. Moving on to the 7th. The current temperature at the time of observation was 13.9. Sky cover was 3/4 to full. We had very high hazy clouds, multi-layered cloud cover, altostratus to cirrostratus is kind of what I'd guessed. They were gray, dark gray, undefined, and again, because of the amount of cover and everything, it was hard to judge the height. The Beaufort number I registered was 0, and it was very, very calm. It was hard to get any sort of direction at all. The maximum temperature was 16.9 degrees, and the minimum was negative 3.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, it worked very well with the National Weather Service temperatures, and we started to get a little bit more insulation there with the cloud cover, and it got a little warmer. So moving on to the 8th, the last day of my observation. The current temperature during the time of observation was 21.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The sky cover was 100%. Cloud type was altostratus and nimbostratus. Medium height, dark gray. I could not see the surrounding mountains at all. There was some snow and a little bit of freezing rain. The Buford number, I got a 1, and the direction was north-northeast. The maximum temperature was 21.4, and the minimum was 8.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, it worked and kind of compared very well with the National Weather Service reporting, and the temperatures are definitely continuing to warm. The cloud cover got a little bit thicker, and the temperatures held in some of that heat, and the temperatures went up. Moving on to the pressure. So I had some issues with my equipment this week for the pressure readings, and I did not catch it until the end of the week when I was getting ready to make the Unit 4 screencast. So I think the first couple of days I did have a fairly accurate reading for what I was getting at my station. It was adjusted for altitude. I wasn't reading zero sea level, sorry. But starting on the 6th, 7th, and 8th, I'm not too sure exactly what happened. I might have been reading the wrong portion of the barometer or something. Maybe I needed to tap the barometer and the gauge got stuck. I'm not too sure. However, the first couple of days were pretty close, but then, like I said, moving on from the 6th there, 6, 7, and 8, the pressure definitely went up according to the National Weather Service station, but my observation station definitely kind of went the other way, and I think it was a mixture of user error and inexperience with the equipment that happened on that one. So let's get to talking about the TV weather maps, and the reason why I'm bringing up this fronts is these are the main fronts that I saw: cold fronts, warm fronts, and included front. I wasn't too sure what this last one was, so I had to look it up. Basically what this last one is, for folks who might not know, is that a warm air mass gets caught between two cold air masses, and the cold air masses pretty much push that warm air up. And this can bring on some heavy winds and heavy precipitation. And we'll kind of show you this on the maps here, these next several slides. Monday the 4th, the secluded front that I was talking about, one of the first times that I really actually took the time to look it up and do a little bit of reading about it, happened right here, kind of in the Bristol Bay area, around this pretty powerful looking low is down to the 975 millibars, and then we have this band of high pressure up on the Arctic Chukchi Sea interior, and then going on to Canada down towards the Panhandle. Even with this high pressure here, we still have precipitation, snow, and quite a bit of cloud cover here in interior Alaska. And I think, I'm not too sure, but I think you can contribute that to this low. Everything's just kind of battling it out here. And we'll see a little bit of a change moving towards these next couple of days, at least from my station. So we have this real powerful and massive low out at the end of the chain, kind of outside of the Bristol Bay region, and then going up to the Straits in the southern part of Russia here, the secluded front down here, and then down here we got the warm front, the cold fronts, and then another warm front, low pressure here in the Gulf, and this high pressure that was up a little further into the Northwest Territories is pushing its way closer into Alaska, and this is probably what's going to clear up a little bit of weather for at least my observation station on the 6th. But there was still definitely some precipitation on Tuesday the 5th. So there's all kinds of craziness that's happening here. It's a lot of information, this stuff that I'm not super familiar with. But what I do see and recognize is that this high pressure here is kind of making its way west a little bit and breaking up the cloud cover in interior. And this is when I did see almost a completely cloud-free morning or afternoon at the time of observation. And it definitely cooled off those temps there for a little bit. But this guy out here, I think, is what's going to be changing the weather here the next couple of days. So this big low down here, you can kind of see it's centralized down here, so just south of Russia on the 6th, and then it's the leading edge of it. It's kind of right here on the western part of the state. Moves into the interior a little bit, and then at least making its way east. And it's what it looks like what it's doing. It's bringing a lot of cloud cover. Warm front is pushing up and down. We've got a standing front here, cold front, and another cold front with a bunch of lows. I mean, it's just this powerful section of lows. North of the Aleutians, north of Bristol Bay, and in the Strait. Bringing up a lot of stuff, a lot of change happening with this one high pressure down here. We still have this high pressure out in the Northwest Territories that they're kind of battling it out, but this powerful low seems like it's the winner and definitely making the most change for Alaska, especially in the interior and northern parts, western parts. Friday the 8th, the last day of my observation. So it looks like what was happening way back on the 5th is kind of finally made its way all the way into the interior. And we've got this really, really powerful low again coming from roughly the same area, but it's kind of behind the one that's dissipating a little bit and kind of battling it out with this, again, this high front that's been slowly making its way east and south in Canada and the Northwest Territories here. And everything is just kind of mixing and creating a lot of precipitation, a lot of cloud cover, just a lot of change happening right here in the high pressure again down here in the Gulf. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening, and I'm not 100% sure on exactly how it all interacts, but it's been interesting looking. Let's see. So over the week, what we had seen was a big low in the Bristol Bay, just north of the Bristol Bay region, that started out down here, eventually day by day making its way over towards the interior. We had a high pressure over here that brought some a break in the cloud cover on the 6th, on Tuesday, and maybe it had won for that day, but as this low moved over from the Straits and the Waikiki Delta area into the interior, the cloud cover came back. I don't know if this is particularly extreme or unusual. I do know that there's a lot of storms and a lot of low pressures that happen in the wintertime in the Bristol Bay region and the Berings. So I don't think that is very unusual. What is unusual is how warm it was in the interior. Whether or not that was due to the cloud cover or something else happening as far as the weather conditions for that first week in February, I'm not too sure. And challenges was just kind of gauging the type of clouds and then interpreting the information to make sure that it's accurate, or at least as accurate as it can be. But yeah, that's my weather observation for the 2nd through the 8th. So, okay, thank you. Bye.